I don't know, 10 years ago, a year ago, whenever you first came to me, I thought this was the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of. I figured we had a system that was working well. There was nothing wrong with it. Even though I have a daughter who's a fifth grade teacher, and she would tell me maybe it's something different, but I thought, wow, this, you know, I've had my fill of politics. I don't like it. My favorite definition of politics is, holly is many, ticks are blessed, right? And so I had enough of all that, and I thought, man, if she's right, if we need to break away, if this is something that needs to happen, I'm not up for the fight. The fight is out. But the more I research and the more I listen to teachers, not just my daughter, whom I love, and she's sitting right there, but the more I listen to teachers, and more I analyzed and looked at the situation, more numbers I had thrown in there. And I had to verify those numbers because I love you, but I don't trust everything you say. You know, because there were things coming at us that just seemed ridiculous to me. But the more I researched this, the more I realized, hey, you all know that this is a very special place. Fairhope is a special place, right? I mean, we wouldn't be here if it was special, right? And someone said, well, you're elite. Well, when we first moved here about 26 years ago, we lived in Fairhope, and I worked at Proper State. And I learned in about the first week, you might not want to brag that you live in Fairhope, because those folks across the river, you know, you're elite. Robert Seaborn did this better than what I heard when he said, if elite means we don't settle for just status quo. If elite means we want to be the best that we can be, call me an elitist. I thought, hey, maybe that's pretty good. I don't want to snub anyone. I don't want to leave anyone out. But if elite means we can do better than we're doing, we need to go for it. And that's one of the reasons that this community is so special. It's one of the reasons that so many people have been drawn here. And you know, they tell me if you have two Fairhopers, or Fairhopians, I call them Fairhopers. Fairhope, yeah, that's good, thank you, ma'am. If you have two Fairhopers, you have 5 opinions. And that's kind of right. Whether it's city council stuff over here, bald-headed guy, or whether it's school stuff, you have so many different opinions. But isn't it great that we can, and if everything was so simple and easy and we just had to know how important that is, it is wonderful that we have such a diversity in our community. But I digress and I chase rabbits a lot. Once I researched this and I realized that there are so many questions, oh good Lord, there are more questions than there are answers. And I'm not smart enough to answer many, if any, of the questions. But I think we're missing the mark if we don't at least pursue this to the bitter end, just to see what can happen. Because I think we're on to something very special here. I think we're on to something that can change our children. I've got 2 grandsons, and I'm proud of them. They're the best grandsons in Fairhope. You'd argue that. But I'm not just concerned about my grandsons. I'm concerned about your grandpeople and even the neighbors. I mean, good Lord, isn't it more efficient to educate a child than to rehabilitate a child in prison? I won't go there. But I just think this is an opportunity for us to pursue this, to see if it is something that indeed we can do. And there's going to be so many questions that we're not going to be able to answer till the council takes action. I'm not fussing, because when I'm pointing at you guys, 3 of them point right back at me. But I had lunch with Monty Dixon yesterday. Great lunch at Old 27. If you haven't been there, you ought to go to Old 27 Grill. Highway 27 Grill, you know where it is? In the Windmill Road? Yes, great place. Green Stick. Monty and I...
After you eat your...
Oh, Moses is great too. Sorry, man. Great hamburger, whatever. But anyhow, thanks for hosting us too. In the conversation that I had with him, we discussed schools and we discussed a lot of stuff. But he said, you know, here's what I'd like for you people to do. You people, what's that? You need a petition. If you get me 2,000, y'all go with this over here? If you get me 2,000 names on a petition, then the city council will pursue this even more, because that's how it works. Next year's an election year. It's all about numbers. It's all about votes. 2,000 people would be 1/3 of the voting population in Fairhope. I don't think that'd be a problem. I started bringing up piece of paper tonight and ask for, for signatures or whatever. I just ask that we pursue this, that we look into this, but this is an emotional issue, right? There are people who are dead set, 100% against this, feeling sorry that we wouldn't bring it up. But all I think is that if we could just pursue, if we could just get to some of those answers that I think are there, that we'll get to, this could be a turning point in a community that we all love so much. It's a special place. Someone mentioned yesterday Federal Utilities. Wouldn't you rather be on Federal Utilities than any other utility? I mean, if you don't talk about it, it's a special place that we love so much. And I endorse it totally, whether I lose a dog food customer or whether I lose another customer. I think that the sacrifice we might have to make is for our children, for our grandchildren, and for the children of the community. But I think it's that important.
Good job. Patronize our friend Cecil. I had to buy a lot of bromeliads to keep talking in
Not enough.
here.